Welcome to PlayStation Corner, my name is Alex and today we're going to be taking another look at the massive PSN summer sale and counting down what is another batch of deals. I'm really liking some of the games in today's video, definitely a few lesser knowns. With that though, hit subscribe, join us here on PlayStation Corner for reviews and deals weekly, and let's get started. Before we do jump in then, it's worth knowing today's video, there's a few heavy hitters, but as I said, I'm definitely looking at a few more releases that could be considered almost obscure. That is because I've already had two videos on what is this massive summer sale, so check those out potentially after this one if you haven't already. They are linked in the pinned comment down below. Tormented Souls then to kick us off, and this one it gets a new low price here, that is 50% off. It's going to be for the horror fans and specifically those that like the old school, think Resident Evils or Silent Hill, think though near static cameras and even tank-like controls. A really fun, unique experience though that has you heading to this abandoned home of sorts after receiving a postcard that's now led you to nightmares. Within minutes of the gameplay beginning though, you've awoken naked in a bathtub, you're missing an eye, so yeah, it's going all out with its theme, and I really enjoyed this throwback. That's everything from the old school kind of visuals to the voice acting that is extremely cheesy. Serious Sam 4 then I played over on Xbox thanks to its inclusion with Game Pass, but it's here now with 50% off and that seems more than fair. It's very much more of the same though in this universe, as it goes for a more old school feeling first person shooter vibe. It's acting though as a prequel in the timeline, but all you need to know is this: the gameplay remains the same in the sense it's all about basically charging in, strafing and trying to take down what is an overwhelming number of enemies. So how do you do that? Well, it's time to of course leverage what is a huge arsenal of weapons, and now you're going to war. As always though, we are the last line of defense from invading forces, and this has support for up to 4 players online in co-op. That's going to be the campaign mode, or you can even tweak some elements to kind of mix these runs up. Demon Turf then is a great release. It got a decent amount of respect on Switch, but it seems rarely mentioned on other platforms. Now it is a 3D platformer this one, but the characters and the enemies, they're actually designed from a 2D angle, making for something that looks incredibly unique. And yeah, it really works for its cartoon-like visual style. The story though, you're basically beating down demons from each of these areas to become a queen. The platforming though is incredibly strong. It received a speedrunning follow-up that was incredible as well at a budget price point, but then in this entry you can revisit locations you've overrun and see the impact you made. It even packs combat though. I will add here, that's probably the weakest element of the game. Finally though, it's a fun cast with a great sense of humour and a killer soundtrack to back it all up. It's a new low price here then, that is 30% off. Ratchet and Clank then, while I'm on platformers, we still await a new low price with this one, but I do think 43% off here is worth it, and it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive that is a prime example of the power behind the new hardware. It has just these incredible sequences as you're travelling through time. Alongside that then, some of the most creative weaponry I've seen in a long time as well, the pixel gun being my personal favourite. Story-wise then, we'll be working with Clank, we'll be hunting for him after we get separated, we'll even be playing as a new character by the name of Rivet. I jumped in day one, I highly recommend it, and do note there is a deluxe digital edition as well. I never recommend them unless they contain extra game content, and this one, that's kind of the case here. It's just cosmetics alongside what is a few digital goodies like an art book and a soundtrack, and for me, I just can't justify that extra $10. Super Cyborg then was a gem I was introduced to recently, and it was budget to begin with. Now it's rocking 40% off. A run and gun experience, it's heavily influenced by Contra, it even packs a top-down level as well, so think Super C. You though are the title generic Cyborg, but the rest of the game around the character, it is great stuff. You'll be taking on huge enemies, there's these boss encounters, and generally the game's just packing some serious challenge. You'll want to dive back in. Overall as well, I think it looks stunning as well. The pixel work here really kind of shows how much animation you can get into a world like this. Ghostwire Tokyo, then it got a lukewarm reception, this one, and while I do understand many of the complaints, I picked it up discounted myself on physical, and I enjoyed it more than I disliked. It can be a little slow in its pacing at times, I found, but otherwise I really did enjoy it. I just love the location. The setting is often visually stunning, and then its combination of first-person action adventure and horror elements, it really worked for me. The story though, Tokyo's been overrun by deadly supernatural forces, and you partner with an entity to bring them down with a whole host of skills to learn along the way. It's backmatching the low though, 50% off, and I think that is more than fair. You should be getting a solid 10 or so hours of gameplay for a standard run. If you are concerned about the horror element as well, I will say it is not a scary game. It's more thematically horror than, think anything like jump scares. Jurassic World Evolution 2 then next, and this was the follow-up to what was a surprise hit for me. The concept was so simple, honestly. Take something like Roller Coaster Tycoon, attach dinosaurs to it, and yeah, it absolutely worked. Now gone is the idea of building expansive roller coasters. That's replaced here with containment areas and dinosaur breeding, and this follow-up basically expands upon the formula. It's kind of the usual step up for the genre, expanded upon construction, new dinosaurs, new story mode, additional modes as well. Then it's upped its game on the visual front as well, and it's really done justice to this world. It's a new low price here then, 55% off, and you could easily get well over 100 hours of gameplay for your cash here, because it does pack a sandbox mode, and they're just always so addictive. 100 days then while I'm on simulation games, and hear me out here, not the most thrilling of ideas, I know, building out a winery, but I've wanted this on the Switch for the longest of time. $30 was, in my opinion, way too much to take the risk on it. Then it gets a discount. Now without PS Plus I'm still not biting, it's $20, but with PS Plus right now the price above, it's dropped to $6, so I'm finally gonna be heading in. So that does mean I haven't played it, so maybe you'll want to join me for the ride, but this price, it could honestly be a mistake, because I feel like there's such a huge difference here between the PS Plus and non-PS Plus pricing. We rarely see such a big jump. This edition though, it's packing in Napa Valley as well. That's a new scenario to play through, and we'll basically be managing the day-to-day operations from, well, at least from what I understand, production through to sale, and it's definitely now got me curious. It's a monster, 80% off though, and that seemed easily cheap enough for me to take the risk. Fowler Seal, Arbiter's mark then to close us out, but do remember, if you are looking for heavy hitters, there is a good chance I featured them in the last couple of videos, where all the deals, they are still alive, and they are linked in the pinned comment down below. This one though, it's a story-driven, tactical-based RPG, came out a few years ago now, but rarely sees price drops, definitely not new low prices either, like this 75% off. It's a fantasy world though, steampunk influenced, stunning visual design, almost a cartoonish look, and will be leading a small band of warriors to maintain a peace in this world. Definitely drives up the tension though as the story gets going. Alongside that though, then you've got 20 classes to experiment with, and then you'll be managing that inventory equipment as well. I do love a good tactical game though, and this is one of the better ones, with a deep system on unique maps of varying layouts. And that is the video down. Will you be adding anything to the library this week, or are you holding onto that cash? Let me know what you did grab as well, even if it's not in today's video. With that then, hit subscribe, join us here on PlayStation Corner for reviews and deals weekly, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.